I spent 15 years playing cello for Broadway shows, and not a single audience member has ever seen my face. Most people think Broadway is all about the stars performing center stage in the spotlight, but beneath them, sometimes literally beneath the stage, exists an entire unseen world. For 15 years, I've played cello for 12 Broadway productions. I've performed over 4,000 shows, yet not a single audience member has ever seen my face. Welcome to the orchestra pit, Broadway's musical heart beating in the shadows. My routine begins around 6:30 p.m. I enter through the stage door, nodding to security guards who know me but sometimes still check my ID. While ushers prep the house and the cast warms up, I descend the narrow staircase to the pit where my cello waits. These pits vary dramatically. Some are decent-sized spaces below the front stage. Others are cramped corners where musicians practically sit in each other's laps. The worst was during Phantom, 3 years in what felt like a glorified broom closet with my cello nearly touching both walls. By 7:15, we're tooting. The concertmaster gives us A, and instruments finding their pitch creates a familiar cacophony. I can often hear the audience above conversations, laughter, programs rustling. They have no idea we're preparing to provide the emotional backbone of their experience. When the conductor arrives, we go silent. A nod, a raised baton, and we begin. That moment when music first rises from pit to theater never gets old. It's like sending an invisible gift upward. The strangest aspect is experiencing shows purely through sound. I've played entire runs never actually seeing the performance. I know when the big kiss happens because of the musical swell. I recognize particularly funny moments from audience, laughter drowning or plain. But I've never witnessed these moments during Les Risirables. I could identify which actress played Wixponin just by how floorboards creaked above different parts of the pit. One stepped heavily on her left foot above where I sat. The other had a lighter, more centered step. I knew their voices and footsteps but wouldn't recognize their faces on the subway. Here is an intimacy to this work. When performers have off nights, we hear it first, slight wavering in usually steady voices, or barely perceptible tempo rushing from nervousness. We adjust and support, creating a safety net of sound. The audience never knows. The pay isn't what people imagine. Broadway musicians make a decent living but aren't getting rich. Many teach or play weddings on Sundays. I once played a Chicago matinee, rushed to Central Park for a wedding, then returned for the evening show, 3 performances, 2 venues, 1 day, still worrying about rent. The physical toll is significant. At Vistello is surprisingly athletic. Hours in the same position leads to back problems, neck pain, and tendonitis. During 8 show weeks, I ice my wrists between performances. I've had 2 surgeries on my left hand and still played with a brace. The music must continue. Yet magical moments occur. During spring and Laxening, a power outage hit the theater. Emergency lights activated, but the sound system failed. Without hesitation, we played louder while actors projected more. For 20 minutes, Broadway went acoustic, no microphones, just human voices, supported by instruments as theater began centuries ago. That night, after power returned, something unusual happened. During curtain call, the lead actor gestured to the pit, acknowledging our orchestra for saving the show. The audience stood applauding as we briefly appeared, illuminated by spillover stage lights. For a moment, we were visible. Then house lights came up, the audience departed, and we returned to shadows, packing instruments while discussing late dinner options. This is a Broadway pit musician's life. We create emotional landscapes, making audiences laugh, cry, and feel, while remaining completely unseen. We're invisible performers, and most wouldn't have it otherwise, though sometimes I wonder what having my own spotlight might feel like.